Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to People of Quran, where tonight will be the last night, inshallah ta'ala, where I will share with you a story of how one of our pious predecessors interacted with an ayah of the Quran. SubhanAllah, we're already at the end of Ramadan. May Allah accept it. And inshallah ta'ala, this is a beautiful story that we can take home with us, inshallah ta'ala, because becoming a person of Quran doesn't just mean that you take that surah or you take that ayah and you internalize it, but you actually fall in love with the Qur'an. And that's the goal here, that we actually get to a point where the Qur'an becomes part of us, to where we don't just live the Qur'an because we have to, but we live the Qur'an because we love the Qur'an and we love the one who taught the Qur'an. This is a story from the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu says that there was one of the Ansar that used to lead us and used to lead the other Ansar in Salah in Masjid Quba. Masjid Quba, for those of you that know the Quba Mosque in Medina, it's very close to Masjid Nabawi, and it's sunnah to go there, of course. So this is a historic masjid, the masjid that Allah refers to in the Quran, that was built upon the foundation of taqwa. So he said that this man used to lead Salah in Masjid Quba, and in every single rak'ah, iftataha bi Qul Huwallahu Ahad. He would start off after Surah Al-Fatiha with the recitation of Qul Huwallahu Ahad. He'd read Surah Al-Ikhlas, and then when he finished Surah Al-Ikhlas, he'd go and he'd read another surah. So imagine, subhanAllah, praying behind an imam, and literally every single rak'ah of salah, he reads Al-Fatiha, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, and then he reads another surah. So he would constantly do this until the Sahaba went to him and they said, listen, you can do one of two things. Either you could just read Qul Huwallahu Ahad by itself and consider it sufficient. That's good enough to just read Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Or you could read another surah and that's sufficient. Meaning you don't need to do this in every single rak'ah, to put Qul Huwallahu Ahad in every single rak'ah. So the man said, look, I'm never going to stop doing this. He said, this is a condition for me being your imam. This is how serious he takes it. Like, if you don't want me to if you don't want me to do this, then I'm not going to lead you guys in salah anymore. So you make that call, you make that decision. So Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu says, but the Sahaba knew that he was the best amongst them, meaning this wasn't just some average companion, because a lot of times when this story is told, it's like some ignorant Bedouin. No, this is one of the best of the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ. Allahu a'lam who he is, but they knew that he's the best one, so they didn't want him to stop being the imam. So they went to the Prophet ﷺ and they told the Prophet ﷺ about it. So the Prophet ﷺ said, tell him to come to me. So the man came to him. And Rasulullah ﷺ said to him, oh so-and-so, what stops you from doing what your companions asked you to do? Qul Huwallahu Ahad is sufficient. Another surah is sufficient. What stopped you from listening to them? And he replied to the Prophet ﷺ and he says, Inni uhibbuha. He said, look, I just love this surah. And the Prophet ﷺ saw the sincerity of this companion when he said, I just love Qul Huwallahu Ahad, right? And a lot of people would think that, you could make the argument that you'll read Qul Huwallahu Ahad in every rak'ah and not read another surah, and you'll say, I just love the surah, right? To just make all of your salahs really fast. But this man would read Qul Huwallahu Ahad and another surah. So he said, look, Ya Rasulullah, inni uhibbuha. I just love the surah. The Prophet ﷺ looked at him, and seeing that sincerity in the man's eyes and seeing the love that he had for that particular surah of the Qur'an, Surah Al-Ikhlas, 1/3 of the Qur'an, the Prophet ﷺ says, حُبُّكَ إِيَّاهَا أَدْخَلَكَ الْجَنَّةِ. Your love for that surah has guaranteed you entrance into paradise. SubhanAllah. Not only is your action okay, but your love for this surah will enter you into Jannah. This guarantees you paradise. Now SubhanAllah, this leaves us with a question. This hadith, by the way, is in Al-Bukhari. Is it now sunnah to read Qul Huwallahu Ahad in every single rak'ah? Is it halal? Is it mubah? Is it permissible to read Surah Al-Ikhlas in every single rak'ah? Is it bid'ah? Is it an innovation? Right? And there's a technical point here that needs to be clarified. In the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, a sunnah becomes a sunnah through a statement of the Prophet ﷺ, qawl. It could be an action of the Prophet ﷺ, fi'l, or it could be, taqreer. The Prophet ﷺ approves something that someone else does. But within taqreer, within the Prophet ﷺ approving something that someone else did, there are two types of approval. One of them is where the Prophet ﷺ sees a companion doing something and the Prophet ﷺ praises that action, and so that becomes a sunnah. It actually becomes something that becomes beloved to do. The other one is when the Prophet ﷺ is simply silent about the action of a companion, meaning the Prophet ﷺ doesn't approve the action, he allows it to be done, but he doesn't assign a reward to it. When the Prophet ﷺ does that, it becomes permissible. So this falls in that category, where it became permissible for that man to do so and for everyone else. But it's not necessarily a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ to do so, because the Prophet ﷺ only approved of that man doing it, because of his love for the surah, and not necessarily just the sunnah to read Surah Al-Ihlas in every single rak'ah. But subhanAllah, what is it that you love about the Qur'an? What surah do you love in the Qur'an? Why did this man love Qul Huwallahu Ahad? Why is it 1/3 of the Qur'an? Why is this short surah that we just speed through, all the time in our salah so important? And why should we pay attention to it? Because this is a surah that highlights the essence of Tawheed. It gives us monotheism in its purest form, and that's the beauty and the crux of this religion. And so subhanAllah, we find this companion loving it so much that the Prophet ﷺ didn't just say, okay, you can read it. Instead, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you love this surah the way that you love that surah, then you're definitely going to be entered into Jannah, because he loved that surah for Allah, and we love the Qur'an for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now subhanAllah, we're done with the series, and I have to say, I have to thank everyone that's tuned in to this series. This has been one of, by far, one of my favorite series he's ever doing in life, subhanAllah. I've really enjoyed it, and I look forward to really doing this inshallah ta'ala annually. I ask Allah that He accepts our Ramadan, and that He gives us another year inshallah ta'ala and more. But I ask Allah, Allahumma balighna Ramadan. Oh Allah, allow us to see Ramadan next year inshallah ta'ala. So hopefully we'll continue in this, and obviously, the main thing we take from this is to become people of Qur'an. We ask Allah to make us from Ahlul Qur'an, those that the Prophet ﷺ said are the most favored people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The people of Qur'an, Ahlul Qur'an, they are the VIP of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the meantime, dear brothers and sisters, from now until next Ramadan, obviously continue to refresh your memory and go through the series and share it with other people, and continue to tune in inshallah ta'ala to all of the great series that we have on Bayyina TV and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bayyina, where we'll be continuing inshallah the beginning and the end, and inshallah ta'ala other episodes like Amazed by Quran by Ustad Nu'man are going to be coming up. So stay tuned inshallah ta'ala, and thank you so much, jazakumullah khairan, for being a part of this Ramadan, for allowing me to be a part of your Ramadan. I look forward to seeing you guys inshallah in the future. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.